Southern Fried Gaming Expo with Frederick Richardson, aka Funky Fresh.
Funky Fresh.
He's top 50 pinball player in the world, according to IFPA rankings. Fred, how did you get to top 50? I mean, what?
You know, it's funny. I used to play a lot in the 90s, and then I got married, had a family, sort of disappeared for a while. And as the rise of it came back, played a little bit, but it was really in the last 2 years or so, I started traveling again. I had the opportunity to go to shows and play on the circuit, and it really elevated my ranking.
So really only 2 years of play and you're already played in the World Championships and everything like that? That's crazy. What's your technique, strategy?
Well, what's my technique and strategy? Every game it's different. How did I get better maybe was really paying attention to other players and dialing into the rules. I think that was a big difference as they've gotten more and more complicated. You got to go in there, find out what they're doing. Why is this more valuable when I shoot this first? So that was a big part of it. But yeah, it's just been the last 2.5 years, and I've been able to hover right around 50. I'd love to crack the top 25, but then you need some big wins, and that's what's up next.
And what is it like being in the tournament circuit and with IFPA? Like, for people who don't know what IFPA is, tell them.
Sure. So players are ranked. If you're in a tournament that's endorsed by the IFPA, you're going to receive a ranking. You're going to receive some points for doing this. There are currently over 65,000 people ranked worldwide that play in events all over the world. There's stuff going on every weekend. And then we also have larger events at what we call the pro circuit, the Stern Pro circuit. And those ones will bump you up quicker if you do well, because the competition is harder, the formats are harder, and so that'll increase your ranking. But really to jump up into that top echelon, top 100, you have to win some big tournaments, and you're gonna have to travel.
That's nuts, yeah, it's crazy. And for you guys that don't know, IFPA stands for International Flipper Pinball Association, and they've been around for so many years, right? And there's a pop-up facility that's part of that. Like, what is that?
So there's basically two governing bodies to pinball. Roger Sharp helped start both of them. He helped start PAPA with Steve Epstein out in the New York area, and PAPA stands for the Pro-Am Pinball Association. So they had their group, and then there was in the upper Midwest with Steve Young, we had the IFPA, the International Flipper Pinball Association. And again, this was sort of back in the 90s, and we had world championships, and we went to the two places, and we earned them. We earned them as singles, we earned them as doubles, which I have 2 of. So I got 2 world championship trophies, but anyway, so they both took a little bit of a dip around 2000, and we had people restart them up, and Kevin Martin was one of them that bought up the PAPA franchise and grew it and made Replay FX and had the PAPA facility out in Pittsburgh, one of the best places we've ever played. And with the IFPA, that was sort of taken by Josh and Zach Sharp, Roger's kids, and a host of other people, took it on their back to really build a competitive scene. And they built it real similar to like the PGA. If you follow golf, what we do in pinball is real similar to the PGA.
Very cool. That's a really good analogy, actually. Yeah. So when you're not playing pinball, Fred, you are a manager of sorts. I've seen you work your magic a lot. Tell me what you do when you're not playing.
Sure. I've been in food and beverage most of my life. So I've been a restaurant manager. The last few years I've been consulting, so I've been traveling all around the country, helping bars, nightclubs, and restaurants be better, new openings, rebrands, refresh, stuff like that. And lately I've been helping barcades, places with games all around Denver, Minneapolis, Columbus, Ohio. Got a lot of friends in Chicago. And now we're looking to bring something to South Carolina, so we've been working on that.
What do you actually do to help these barcades?
Well, it's what they need. You tell me what you're looking for, and I'll tell you how I can deliver it. We have a team of people work front of the house, back of the house, write menus for you, give you all the tools that you need in order to be successful. We can tell you from our experience things that work for us and best practices, and build from there. We do a real deep market analysis, too, of the area that you're in to see who you're going to appeal to and who exactly is your target market audience.
So basically, you're the ideal consultant for anyone trying to open up a barcade. Is that what I'm getting here?
Maybe.
And what is the barcade scene? How is the barcade scene? Is it growing? Like, what do you see through all your consulting?
You know, honestly, it's really exciting. It is really growing. There are areas in our country that are just out of control, like Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. I mean, it is just crazy in some places. And it's really interesting how quick it can grow. I love to use Columbus, Ohio as the example. 5 years ago, they didn't have any barcades there. They have more than a dozen now. And they're all thriving because they work together and they do it for the growth of the gaming, growth of pinball. And if you do that, along with your competitive stuff, work together, don't step on each other's toes, respect the calendar, the scene will grow. And it's flourishing in a lot of areas around the country.
Absolutely, and the collector community is really awesome, but I think we have to somewhat attribute the growth of pinball to the on-location pinball community, to the people that are competing, like you as competitors, and now the Bells and Chimes have their own women's group.
Yes.
And so what have you seen as far as the growth and where it's going?
Sure, so I think what really helped pinball sort of come back was about the mid-2000s, 2005, 2006. It was a combination of the home collectors as well as people getting re-energized about bringing them into commercial sites. So that helped. And then people like me who do leagues and tournaments and stuff like that, bringing them into different areas. You mentioned the women with Bells and Chimes. I mean, that has been one of the most exciting growth areas in all of pinball, is watching not only women's competitive pinball, but really like equaling the play field where it's like a respected level. We've had issues with growing this, with women feel comfortable playing pinball, and that's terrible. Should never have been like that. And so what we do, hopefully, people see this. If you see a Bells and Chimes League, as a man, you know, respect it, promote it, and, you know, help people understand these are just other players, you know, men, women, kids. And yeah, we're all pinball players, okay? And I don't want somebody coming up to me and bothering me when I'm in the middle of a game. You know, don't talk to me when I'm playing, so why would you do that, you know, to a woman or to a kid? So anyway, I see that changing and getting better, and I support that. Be vocal, and don't let people get away with anything. If you see it out there, say something.
Yeah, absolutely. So Marco Specialties, we sponsored the Southern Fried Women's Bells and Chimes tournament, and you're working a lot with Marco now. We see you at all the shows. What's your involvement with Marco, and what is Marco doing for our community?
Sure. So the Manteltor family and I sort of got together a couple years ago, and we've worked together from everything from, you know, staffing and shows and stuff. I've been coming to shows with them for about a year and a half now. I go when I can make it. A lot of times I want to play in the tournaments that are there, so we got to kind of figure out.
He disappears sometimes.
How that works out. It's all approved. And but it's funny, real quick, you mentioned that we did help sponsor this weekend. We did the women's tournament, and a Marco woman won that tournament. Shout out to Callie Holman for winning that. Woo! A lot of great women players were up there. I couldn't believe it. I walked in and I was just like, I knew like many of them. So for Callie to take it, that was great. And then as far as me working with Marco, you know, we do shows. I like to talk to people about the games and the designs behind them. Selling parts, not my thing. Being on the floor, I sold 3 games today. So, I mean, yeah, you know, people see it, and when you can explain to them how to play it better, they enjoy it, and they want to, you know, they want one for their house.
Well, thank you for everything you do, Funky Fresh.
You're welcome.
We'll see you at the next show.
You guys take care. Thanks for having us.